Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Snack Bar where you get your weekly bites of everything movies. My name is Geraldine, and with me I have.
Hi, I'm Jed Young.
I didn't forget this time.
Most
Okay,
excellent.
so out of Jet's recommendations, we'll be talking about The Legend of Tarzan today. But before we do that, let's talk about the movies that we, and by we, I mean Jet, watched this week.
Alright, so I reviewed The Purge Election Year and Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Awesome.
The Purge Election Year is the third movie in the Purge franchise, which is an action horror series from Blumhouse Productions. So it's quite different from stuff like The Conjuring or Paranormal Activity and the other shows and series from this production company because it doesn't have a supernatural element. It's a speculative fiction thing. So the premise of the first Purge movie is that sometime in the near future, there's been a complete upheaval of society in the United States of America, and society has been overhauled by a political party known as the New Founding Fathers. And America is stable and peaceful, and crime has dropped, and the economy is flourishing because of one thing they've done, which is one night every year, total anarchy, all crime is legal. So that's like the ridiculous premise that they have had. And this year, 2016 being the year of the presidential elections in the US, we have the Purge election year.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie, Frank Grillo returns as the main character, Sergeant Leo Barnes, and he was the main character of the second movie. I really like this character because it's as close as anyone is going to get to Frank Grillo playing the Punisher. And I've always felt that Frank Grillo should have been Punisher and not Crossbones. And even though John Bernthal is awesome on Daredevil, it's such a missed opportunity because Frank Grillo is 100% the Punisher. Just look at him, and his name is Frank. So,
Alright.
in the second movie, he was this former police detective who had the chance to take revenge on a guy who killed his son in a car accident, but he found forgiveness in his heart and spared him. So in this movie, he is playing the head of the security detail for a woman who is running for president, Senator Charlie Roan. So this woman, when she was, because of an incident in her youth, she is running on an anti-purge platform. And she vows that if she becomes the president, she will do away with the purge, which really is, the purge is actually a method for the ruling class, like the rich, to get rid of the poorer people. And the excuse is that, it's catharsis, it's us getting rid of our demons, exorcising our demons once every year. Naturally, the new founding fathers party is not happy. And so on the night of the purge, an attempt is made on Senator Roan's life, and she and her head of security go on the run. And then they meet some people in the street, including this regular everyday Joe guy who, I think his name actually is Joe, Joe Dixon, played by Michael T. Williamson, who is the owner of a convenience store. And on the day before the purge, like, the insurance company has pulled out his insurance. So he's fending for himself, and his employee is this Mexican immigrant, and one of his friends is a woman who is like a good Samaritan. She drives a ambulance around the streets at night, even though like all the security services are supposed to be suspended and people are left to fend for themselves. So that's like the plot of the Purge election year.
Okay, that sounds really cool.
I didn't really like it because, as you can guess, the political allegory is really clumsy. It's really on the nose. This is sort of like an extreme, straw man dystopian. This is the idea is this is what happens if the conservatives and the NRA and all of the right get all the power. So it's really exaggerated and really over the top. And of course, the new founding fathers, they ritualize the purge, and they're shown as being extremely religious. So like there's something called a purge mass, and the villain of the movie, who is the rival in the presidential race, he is a Catholic priest, like a minister. So it's a little bit distasteful in that aspect. And the other thing is that this movie has quite a small budget, but it's pretty ambitious. So there are a lot of times where you can feel the lack of money there, where they are supposed to show, the streets are all overrun with chaos, but they only have one or two streets that they dress differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a quick and dirty movie, and the reason why these movies are successful, just like all the movies of Blumhouse, is that they're really fast, they're really cheap, and they're really easy to churn out and make. So in a way, it's kind of like the exploitation movies of the 80s, So I guess people who like that genre will actually enjoy this because it's not like really glossy and it's not big and expensive and it's nasty and it's violent. But at the same time, there's the opportunity for satire here that is really passed up in favor of lots of shooting and punching people and stabbing people.
Oh, okay. I see. That's a shame.
Yeah, but if you enjoyed the previous one, I think you'd like this.
Did you like them, the previous ones?
I didn't really like the first Purge because it was like it didn't really do anything with the premise because it was a home invasion movie, but I thought Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey were a good cast. And then the second one, I thought that's a little bit more like it. It was still I still found it a bit dull in that the
Mm.
action wasn't very creative, but I enjoyed Frank Grillo and he's back.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got the stuff to be an action hero, and I kind of wish he had gotten to be an action hero earlier in his career.
Yeah, and too bad he kind of wasn't used enough in Civil War. I
Yeah,
thought.
I was really disappointed when his character left the movie. I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I guess I should just keep on with the Purge
Yeah,
because I like the second movie, and I thought Election Year sounded cool, but the way you said it, it does sound like it has a lot of, it's like a very one-sided view.
very. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's very one-sided, and it's a little bit odd because one of the producers is Michael Bay, and I'm pretty sure Michael Bay is a conservative. I'm pretty sure like he's a right winger because he made the Benghazi movie that we talked about, which was like a conservative mouthpiece. But yeah, it's one of those things where I wrote in my review that it seems kind of paradoxical that left wingers would make a violent movie denouncing right wingers.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, right? That yeah, but at the same time, if you enjoyed the second one and if you are invested in that world, like this does broaden the world out, and it's still a ridiculous premise, but it fleshes it out a bit more.
Okay. I think I'll just keep it.
Yeah, and Alice Through the Looking Glass. Like, what did you think of Alice in Wonderland, the 2010 one?
I watched it on free channels, the free TVs that what's it called? The free to air channels that we had.
Yeah, channel
I,
5.
w- I was really bored, and I don't think the advertisements helped at all.
Mm.
So by the time the movie ended, I just kind of forgot what happened. I just remembered something about, was it a dragon? There was, right?
Yeah, the Jabberwocky.
Yeah, that's all I remembered. Everything else, I can't for the life of me remember the first film. I just remember being super bored throughout.
Yeah, it's weird because visually there's so much going on and it's very gaudy and a little bit over designed, and yet the story is really generic. And I think that was one of the big problems of the 2010 movie, is that they took all of the wild imagination and the surrealism of Lewis Carroll's stories and they stuffed it into a regular blockbuster mold. And I guess that's a problem in this one too, except this time it's a time travel story for some reason.
I'll be honest, I didn't even like Alice's character in the first one.
Yeah, then you probably wouldn't like her here either. They try to make her an action heroine a little bit, but Mia Wasikowska can't really pull it off. And like, I really loved Mia Wasikowska in Crimson Peak. I thought that really suited her as a character, but I wasn't really interested in her playing Alice, even though the character is kind of badass, and the opening sequence of the movie is in the real world and she's the pirate. She's the captain of a ship and she's fighting pirates. And it's kind of like, you're trying so hard to make her a badass heroine, but it's not really working. It goes against the spirit of the Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass stories. And it was so strange to watch the movie, and the whole time I was just thinking, Back to the Future did this better, or Terminator did this better. and the plot device where she battles time, who is played by Sacha Baron Cohen, and she goes back in time and she meets like the younger version of the Mad Hatter and the younger version of the Red and White Queen. So it's a prequel without strictly being a prequel.
Yep.
And the backstories that they give these characters are kind of mundane. It's very much like, there's a sibling rivalry between the Red and White Queen, or the Mad Hatter just wants the approval of his father. And it becomes like, I understand that they're trying to go for a bit of a message about family or, the passage of time, but it felt so blah, especially when the stories are so fantastical. Like, it really lost all of that charm and the surrealism. At the same time, I couldn't bring myself to hate it because I think that quite a lot of effort went into creating the look. The costumes are gorgeous, the set design is pretty cool. And like it's a weird one. I actually had to think quite a bit about this one after writing it because people are treating it like it's the worst thing ever. I don't think it is, but at the same time, it's a disappointment.
Disappointment. Did you like the first film?
No, in that it's a disappointment in that they could have learned some of the lessons from the first one.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
see.
and the main reason why they made this is because the first movie crossed the billion
Made
dollar mark.
1 billion. Sorry. Was
Yeah,
it 1 billion?
over
Yeah.
1 billion, and this one made over 250 million. So there won't be a third Alice, I guess. And at the
Yeah.
same time, like this
It's
came.
for the better.
Yeah, I suppose
Sorry.
so. And the timing for this was really bad because it was the week that Johnny Depp got divorced, and
Mm.
like his ex-wife was accusing him of domestic abuse, and then nobody turned up to the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Johnny Depp in this movie is just Johnny Depp. There's really nothing to say. Yeah.
Well, that's a pity. He went on the Graham Norton show to promote this film, I think. He was so drunk.
Yeah, he's always out of it on TV. He's always like high or drunk or like he's one of those actors who really seems like he doesn't want to be promoting stuff.
An actor. Yeah.
Like he likes being an actor. He likes the dress up part, obviously, but he doesn't like the selling the movie part. And I get it. I
Yeah.
mean, even Chris Evans, he has some anxiety issues, so he always has a problem at conventions and premieres, and that's probably why he looked a little bit out of it in Singapore. I found out that he has like issues with anxiety, and that's understandable. I suppose that when you want to become an actor, the main thing you're looking at is the acting. All of the stuff that comes along with it, it's just stuff you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I guess people are tired of Johnny Depp. It's a shame because I thought he was gonna get an Oscar nomination for Black Mass. He was really good in that, and I thought he was gonna like shift towards more serious things. But no, Manhattan again.
Well, I'm sure he's doing another serious film soon, right? I think
I
heard
hope so. Yeah. I mean, the next thing he has is Pirates 5 next year. Yeah.
I hope Pirates Life is good.
Me
There's
too.
a father and son story in it.
I like Pirates
I love
4.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
I like Pirates 4 a lot.
I thought Pirates 4 was much better than Pirates 3, but it's still not as good as the first one.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Yeah, I don't know. I guess but I would recommend checking out Johnny Depp playing Donald Trump. He did this like online movie for Funny or Die, in which he played Donald Trump, and it's so weird because it's not a bad impression at all, and he brought on his Oscar-winning makeup effects team to transform him into Donald Trump. So it's really surreal.
Okay. Alright, so we'll check that out. I mean, I'll check that out later. I heard him talk about it. I haven't checked it out yet, though.
Right, yeah. The movie itself is not really funny, but his performance is interesting.
So it's just Johnny Depp being Johnny Depp again.
Yeah. But, well, this is the last movie that Alan Rickman was in, so if you want to pay tribute to Alan Rickman,
oh no.
yeah, his final performance.
I don't. Oh, what a terrible film to go out on.
I suppose,
okay,
yeah.
never mind. So let's talk about The Legend of Tarzan. What is The Legend of Tarzan about? Even though I'm pretty sure we talked about it about 2 times.
Yeah, something like that. Well, The Legend of Tarzan is based on the Tarzan stories by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and Tarzan is the pulp hero who, as a child, his parents were shipwrecked and was stranded in Africa and raised him in the jungle. And then when his parents died, when he was young, he was taken in by a family of gorillas. So this movie is not an origin story and is set many years after Tarzan has already married Jane and has moved to England, and he has taken on the identity, well, not taken on the identity, but has sort of come into his inheritance as aristocracy in England because he was born into a wealthy family and he's trying to adjust to life there. He's lured back to the jungle by Captain Leon Rom, played by Christoph Waltz, who is a ruthless Belgian military captain who has come across a lost civilization in Africa, and the chief of the lost civilization has a long-standing rivalry, has a long-standing vendetta against Tarzan, and has told the captain, if you bring me Tarzan, I will give you the diamonds in my city. In the meantime, Samuel L. Jackson's character, George Washington Williams, is an American diplomat who wants to investigate Belgian practices in the Congo, where he believes that the Belgians are enslaving the Congolese to help build their railway. And he needs Tarzan as his way in. So Tarzan and Jane go back to the jungle. They meet up with all their old friends, but they find out, of course, it's a trap. And so Tarzan has to confront Captain Leon Rom and come face to face with his old enemy, Chief Umbonga, and call upon the help of his animal friends as the fight for the jungle ensues.
Okay, so to me, the first thing that came to my mind when I watched this film was, wow, the story is really dark.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Disney film gave me nightmares as a kid because there was so much death in that. But I felt like this one, you see Tarzan actually killing people or being super violent, and that really threw me off. I'm not sure in the books whether he does, actually kill people.
He is, yeah.
But
In the books are
sorry.
sorry, I'm gonna interrupt a little bit because like it's a little bit jarring, especially because this version of Tarzan is quite politically correct. But in the original book, I was quite shocked to find out he introduces himself to Jane saying, "I am Tarzan, killer of apes and many black men." Yeah.
All right.
So awkward.
Yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
I mean, that's not great, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Yeah. So I thought it was alright. Like, I like that the story is a little darker. It's just weird that because I feel like everyone when they think of Tarzan, they think of the Disney one.
Yeah,
And
our
obviously-
generation.
Yeah. So I didn't expect Tarzan to be a stone cold killer. So every time he killed, I was like, oh my god. And the film is also like really violent in terms of people get their ears shot off. What else is it? Like there were so many violent parts in it.
It's kind of a
And
war
like
movie.
people get beaten to death.
Mhm.
I was so thrown off by the tone of this story, especially because I thought David Yates, all right, he did Harry Potter, so that was another thing that sort of fixed my expectations on what I thought this movie was gonna be. But it's not a bad thing. It's just something that I just wanted to say. Yeah, it's not very safe to bring your kids to Tarzan.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that you've brought up because I guess a lot of people feel Tarzan, especially nowadays, feel that Tarzan is a really silly character. He's wearing the loincloth, he's swinging through the vines, and he's yelling, and people look at him as goofy. So this movie, the aim is not so much a dark and gritty Tarzan, but take Tarzan a little bit seriously and a version of Tarzan that would work in against a historical backdrop. And I think that's why it has the tone that it has. I don't think that the darkness is overboard. Or I don't think that you get what I mean, right? That it's like
Yep.
a betrayal of the character. I think it fits with the background, the setting, and the tone of the story that you're trying to tell.
Because even the film says in the jungle, everyone is out to get you. So it's a dog eat dog's world.
Totally.
And it makes sense that Tarzan has to kill in order to survive, or has to be violent in order to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not a problem at all. Yeah, I'm just so weird. So weird.
And that is true because if you think of the Disney version, it's Tarzan hanging out in the jungle with animals singing and dancing and having a great time. And in this movie, there's a lot of death. But at the same time, it reminds me of a nature documentary. And if you watch nature documentaries, some of them are unexpectedly or perhaps expectedly brutal when you look at a cheetah bringing down its prey. If you look at water buffaloes being eaten by crocodiles, that stuff is nasty and nature doesn't censor things. So I guess like the idea is Tarzan is himself wild animal, and the whole conflict of the character or the dilemma at the heart of the character is how much of him is an animal and how much of him is a man, nature versus nurture.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that I like how they addressed that in this movie.
Yeah, me too. And you said that Jane wasn't just a damsel in distress. Well, to me, she kind of was, especially at the climax. But she did that one thing that I thought was alright. You know what I'm talking about, right? But then she kind of screws... Well, it's not her fault, but they kind of stopped her from being independent and then relying on Tarzan saving her again, which I didn't really like.
Yeah.
But, Margaret Robbie does the best that she could. And, you can see that she tries to escape herself. It's just that every time the villain is one step ahead of her. Which kind of sucks, but, it's the movie. It's fine. One damsel in distress in a movie, I'm not going to get mad because Whatever.
I guess it's very much like Lois Lane and Superman, where you always expect that Superman will save Lois Lane, so you always expect that Tarzan will save Jane. And the
But not throughout the entire movie, you know?
not necessarily. I guess the important thing is that in this movie, Jane herself is not scared. She may be in danger and she may be held at gunpoint or at knife point by the bad guys, but she still is able to stand up to them, and she still stands her ground and she doesn't display weakness. I guess I like that Jane is shown as someone who is very culturally attuned, that she's immediately able to get along with with Tarzan's, like, with the African tribe, and she's able to ascertain what it is different societies value. And she's not an ignorant foreigner,
Yep.
and she's almost like a humanitarian.
And to be fair, she grew up there, so.
Yeah, she did. That's right. And I guess that's what I like. It's that she. It's not so much that she rejects Western society as that she is
More
a
comfortable in the native tribe.
yes, and she does not embrace like the traditional Western ignorance of that period.
Yeah.
So I like that. I mean, I did not want. I honestly did not want Jane to be an action heroine. I did not want Jane to be kicking ass next to Tarzan, but neither did I want her to be yelling and screaming for help all the time. And I think that this movie does portray her as a damsel in distress, but I think there's more to her than that. Like, she is in those circumstances, but she's not. I didn't see her as a victim, or I didn't see her as helpless.
I don't know, because to me, she's the one that always needed help, and the whole story, the whole plot revolves around Tarzan saving Jane at the end. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some deeper, shady stuff that's going on, but the heart of the story is Tarzan and Jane. And to me, because Jane doesn't do that much in this film besides be, a tool for Tarzan to rescue her, that's why I'm not comfortable with her just not doing much. I know she's strong and stuff like that, and it's not wrong to need help at all. But I just wish she could just do more instead of be, oh, you can just, how do you say it? I don't think she showed us enough, in
Hmm.
my opinion. Yeah, I'm not sure how to get it across, because I get what they were going for, but at the same time, they weren't showing me what they were trying to show. And I wish there was lesser, victim time for her than there was
Right.
action hero.
I totally get what you're putting across, and I guess a lot of it, yeah, a lot of it is the expectation that Tarzan always rescues Jane, and that's a difficult thing to that's a difficult thing to handle in an adaptation of a source material that is that old and comes from a time where the attitudes are so different from ours today, especially when it's being treated as a period piece. Because at the same time, I didn't want this to be Pride and Prejudice and zombies. And I guess with Margot Robbie, what I enjoyed about her portrayal is that she never accepts she well for
Defeat.
yeah for the purposes of the plot, she's captured, and maybe she shouldn't be captured for as long as she was in the movie, but she doesn't accept defeat and she doesn't accept that position, and neither does she sit around and go, oh, of course Tarzan will come and save me. She does proactively try, even though she's unsuccessful, to free herself. And that was what made it at least a little bit okay for me, but I'm not trying to discount your opinion at all, and I'm not trying to take away from what you thought of it.
I think it's just that I feel they use Jane more as a plot tool, because the reason why she could escape at that one point was for Tarzan to reconcile with a certain group.
Right.
I don't want to go into spoilers yet,
Uh-huh.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, that was the whole point of her trying to get out of that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know, like, yeah, I don't want to go around in circles too much, but I guess from what both of us have presented, you can get an idea of how Jane is treated in the film and how the character is used. And yeah,
Yep.
I guess that I will have to concede that she is used as a plot device, and that's always regrettable when you see that there's an effort to write the female character well, but it still ends up in that whirlpool of the plot device.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Okay, but anyway, let's talk about a better character, in my opinion, which is Samuel L. Jackson's character, who plays George Williams, right?
Yep, George Washington Williams. And what's
Yeah,
really
he's
fun is
great.
that this is a real guy. And the
Mm.
real guy is super fascinating. So I did not know he was a real guy when I watched the movie, and then when I went and look him up, he has such an interesting story, and the parts of his backstory, like when he's at the campfire and he tells Tarzan about the wars that he's fought in, that's all accurate. So and this guy, he really did write, like he's most famous for writing an open letter to the King of Belgium, questioning him about the unethical practices in the Congo. So they incorporated this character from real life. Like they fictionalized him a lot, I'm sure, but they
Yeah,
had him alongside Tarzan.
which was really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like a buddy cop thing in the jungle, and after a while I was like,
Hmm.
actually I'm digging this.
Yeah,
And
it's really good.
especially
And
that
he,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry, and he provides a lot of the comedy, which, this film could have been really down and serious, and because they really were talking about serious matters. But I'm glad Samuel L. Jackson brought something to the screen. And the great thing is that because George Williams is this character that's out of his comfort zone,
Hmm.
Tarzan actually plays off that. And to me, Tarzan was kind of a boring character, and I always felt that he was a boring character.
Yeah, I won't argue with
So
that.
it's always it's nice. Well, I mean, I like Tarzan. I just think he's kind of boring, just a little bit, but I don't hate him.
Definitely,
But
yeah.
anyway, Tarzan, he makes fun of George Williams, or he unintentionally makes fun of him. So I thought that that was really fun, especially his confrontation with the gorilla.
Yeah.
You know which part I'm talking about? Yeah, I thought
Yep.
that was really great.
For me, what I liked about the character is that even though he's the comic relief, and even though there are some moments where he's struggling to keep up with Tarzan, he's not a goofball. He's not Jar Jar
Mm-hmm.
Binks, and he himself has his moments where he gets to kick ass. And his defining skill is that he's an expert marksman. So he has some really cool scenes where he's shown to be really handy with the pistols. But of course, he's not used to life in a jungle. And the bit where he's like piggybacking on Tarzan is really funny.
Mm-hmm. And I love that they kind of they brought a sort of character to him as well, with the wars that he fought and the guilt that he gets from some of them. I thought that was a really great way to bring this character to add some dimension to this character who mainly played as a comedic relief in this film.
I totally agree. And I think it was such a great idea to use an obscure historical figure as Tarzan's sidekick. And that after you watch this movie, you would be compelled to look up this character and look up this whole situation in the 1890s in the Congo. And that's something which maybe it's just me being ignorant, but I completely had no idea about it.
Yeah, I just learned about. Well, I wouldn't have known that it was a real character unless he told me. So
And
I did read up on him after I watched the movie.
and I would actually love to see a movie just about that guy, like a historical biopic about George Washington Williams, because it sounds like he has led such a fascinating life.
And it sounds like Oscar bait too.
A little bit, yeah.
So
So you could have Samuel L. Jackson play the same character but in a completely serious Oscar bait movie.
he will be so good in it though.
He would, yeah. And it would be really jarring because like if the movie wins Best Picture, then it's somehow in the same universe as a Tarzan movie.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Did you find that he was too anachronistic? Like he was too modern in his mannerisms?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's fine. It's because Tarzan, it still felt like a very fantasy film.
Yeah,
No matter how much they were trying to ground it with historical figures and stuff like that. So to
totally.
me, it was just a fantasy. It's kind of like Mulan,
Right,
the
right, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
the
good
Disney film.
comparison.
I want to say the Chinese film. Although Mulan was kind of a legend too, but
Yeah, and
you know,
they did do a Chinese movie with Zhao Wei recently. I think like Vicky Zhao played Mulan in a historical Chinese film.
yep. Sorry, so you're gonna say about Tarzan?
Um, what was I gonna say about Tarzan? No, I'm not very sure. It's
That he's
okay.
not boring.
Him not being boring. Well, he is kind of boring, but at the same time, he's got such a fascinating backstory. So as a person, as a character, he's boring, but the circumstances surrounding him and where he comes from and where he ends up and his whole journey is interesting. So that
Yeah.
makes him less boring than he would otherwise be.
Yep, I agree with you. I like his backstory a lot.
Me too.
I wish I wish Son of Man played. I love that song so much.
Yeah,
But
there
it's
was
never
so
gonna
many moments
happen.
where like the songs were playing in my head, and I was like slotting the songs in subconsciously. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I guess what happens is the way that Tarzan was. I've not read any of the source material, but from my understanding of it, it's pulp, like pulp story. So it is adventure, and it's really over the top, and it's from a colonialist, like imperialist viewpoint. And Edgar Rice Burroughs also created the character of John Carter. So that those are,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
those are his two best known creations.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So it's both examples of this is a bygone period of history. These are heroes that are perhaps considered old fashioned today. So to try and make them relevant, I really don't like it whenever people update Tarzan to modern times. I don't think it works.
Yeah.
So I like that
Has
they,
that even happened before?
yeah, there was, there's this terrible animated film that came out a
Animated?
couple of years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, I had to
Okay.
review that, and that was a disaster. They basically made it like Avatar, where there was a,
Oh,
yeah, where there was like a
okay.
rich land developer who wanted to mine a meteor from Tarzan.
It is like the most boring plot you can think of.
Totally most boring
Because
plot.
people want to be PC, like they want to be like, oh yeah, save the
And
environment and stuff
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
but they just can't think of anything interesting to go along with it. It's a great message, but a lot of terrible ways to deliver it.
100% agree. Yeah, and it turned me off. And Tarzan in that movie was motion captured by Kellen Lutz, who cannot act.
Oh, okay. I've
Yeah,
never heard of him before.
he's the big hunky guy from Twilight, and he played Hercules in the crappier Hercules, the not Dwayne Johnson Hercules, blonde dude.
All right.
Yeah.
I've never seen that Hercules, and I can't remember which Twilight kid you're talking about.
He's there's one scene where he's arm wrestling Kristen Stewart. Maybe that helps. No,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
that
All
guy.
right.
Yeah, so he's like a surfer dude, like Abercrombie.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate
I like Breaking Dawn Part 2, by the way. I
Breaking
know it sucks, but it's
Breaking
amazing.
Dawn
Like
Part
I think
Two.
everyone just gave up. I think
Yeah,
everyone just gave up by that time. And you could tell, and everyone's just like screwing up.
the
So I had
fantasy
fun seeing them
the
screw up.
fantasy battle scene. I was laughing my full head off. I was like, this is hilarious. I love it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it turned out to be a dream.
such a cop out.
Okay, so one of my favorite parts about this film is the vine swinging part. I thought that was really fun and exciting. Like the whole the train scene, or the part leading up to the train scene was really good. I thought the train scene was really good, and I forgot which part was it. I think it's near the final battle. Oh, okay, then I won't say that. But it's near the final battle where he's like swinging through the vines and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's such an
It's CGI as heck, but it's really good.
it's such an iconic image of Tarzan swinging through the vines, and it's been kind of tarnished by Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where they have Shia LaBeouf swinging through the vines with the monkeys. And another thing that I kind of liked was how they handled the yell. And someone actually
Yeah.
comments, "Oh, it sounds a bit different than I thought," and there's like a tiny bit of meta-ness. And
Yeah.
the title, The Legend of Tarzan, is kind of apt because he is treated as a legendary figure. And George Washington Williams even says to him when he first meets him, like, "Oh, I Tarzan, you Jane." So there's a whole popular culture catchphrase, and he's like a minor celebrity. I like that. I like that they treated the character in that way. It reminded me of Mr. Holmes, the movie with an old Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I really want to watch that. I haven't got around to do it yet.
Yeah, one of the things that I liked about that movie is that you sort of see him commenting on the Sherlock Holmes books and movies, and he's saying, "Oh, that was made up," or "I didn't really do that." And there's a little bit of that in this Tarzan, but not to an obnoxious extent. Do you want to go into villains?
Mm, he's alright. I got nothing to say about him.
Yeah, it's Christoph Waltz being
He's
Christoph
just a
Waltz.
villain.
Yeah, it's kind of one-dimensional. Apparently, he was inspired by the villain in the Disney movie, but I don't know whether that's true.
I don't even see it.
Yeah, not
I mean, I
yeah.
guess.
They're
Well,
both
I don't.
hunters, but every villain in Tarzan is a hunter, so I don't really see
Yeah.
it either.
It's kind of cute though that he used the animated film as his
Yeah.
inspiration.
And I like that his henchman was Casper Crumb, the guy with the huge beard. He plays Vandal Savage on the DC TV series Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh,
So
okay.
at one point you
I
have
haven't caught up with that. I've only seen one episode of that TV show.
it gets better. Don't worry.
Okay.
So and this movie, for a lot of this movie, it's Vandal Savage threatening Harley Quinn, and I got a kick out of that. So
I love that you see it that way.
yeah. I'm sorry, like I can't help it.
No, it's super cool, man. It's great.
And yeah, thanks, Cherry. And there are a bunch of Marvel people in this movie as well. Samuel L. Jackson, of course, and Jaimon Onsu, who was the guy who went who in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. I saw him like, oh my god, it's him.
Yeah, it's.
And then I totally forgot his name.
I always think that he should legally change his name on his IC to Jaimon Onsu. Thank you.
That would be amazing. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, like he had a cool part, but it was a very small amount of screen time.
Yeah, I always felt like he's such a good actor too. It's such a shame that they don't really give him much to do.
Yeah,
most of the time.
And stuff like in Fast and Furious 7, and he's just like he's the henchman in a bunch of fantasy movies, which is a waste.
On the bright side, he was a villain of How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Oh yeah, he was Drago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a terrible villain.
Yeah, I didn't like Drago. I'm glad you acknowledge that too.
Hey, I love the film, but I'm not dumb. Okay.
I never implied you were.
No, it's alright.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Wish the action scene was more well shot. I thought it was a little bit too much shaky cam. And also, I didn't really like the CG that much in this film.
Okay.
There's one part where like there's a younger Alexander Skarsgård. That's how you pronounce his name.
Yes, that's how I pronounce his name.
Yeah. It's so ugly because his eyes were so big and nothing matched. Like his head was too big for his body.
So
there was that part, right?
Yeah. So that was that a different actor or was that just CGI on Alexander Skarsgård? I feel like it might have been a different actor.
I think it was a CGI. There is no way someone's head. His eyes were so big. You know when that happened?
Yeah,
the audience went like, what?
Or it could have been that they tried to put CGI on a younger actor to make him look like Alexander Skarsgård and it backfired.
Yeah, maybe. It looked so ugly. That was just one of the worst motion. Is it motion capture? I forgot. I don't know what the
performance capture or like facial tracking.
You know when they aged the character down.
Oh yeah, the digital de-aging.
I thought that was so ugly. Yeah.
And it's
you would think when you look at Ant-Man, you're like, hey, okay, maybe the technology is improving.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, like I forgot to mention it when I was talking about Civil War, but oh my god, the young Robert Downey Jr. at the beginning of the movie creeped me the hell out.
So creepy.
Yeah, I was very disturbed. Yeah, I know in the movie it's like a fantasy sequence or it's like a hallucination, dream projection, but
yeah.
Yeah. And what also like did that sequence a disservice is that young Jane was portrayed by a regular younger actress. They didn't do any shenanigans on her face.
Wait, what? Young Jane? Wasn't that just Margaret Robbie?
Was there a younger Jane? I could have sworn there was a different actress playing Jane at some point in the movie.
No, I think it was just Margaret Robbie.
Okay, then I must have gotten something wrong there. Alright, that's okay.
Oh no, there is one.
There was
Body double.
There was
Ella Purnell.
Yeah, Ella Purnell, right? Yeah, she was the young Maleficent in Maleficent, and she's starring in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the new Tim Burton movie.
To that one.
That looks fun. Yeah, so she's the main girl in that.
Okay, cool. I did not know that, so it's good to know. Wait, how can I not remember that? Well, never mind. Yeah, maybe they look too alike.
There was also one. There's like the credits also list John Hurt as Jane's dad. Did not see him in the movie.
Jane's dad.
Jane's father is supposed to be in the film. Played by,
yeah, I didn't see him too.
So he must have been cut out of it at some point. I found that weird.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to spoilers.
Spoilers for The Legend of Tarzan.
You're right, the animals invading time was kind of weird. But I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I went along with it. Like, I was like, this is silly, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And
it's really silly. A lot of people probably died, though. Like, they were probably trampled over.
Yes, definitely. But...
Did you like that Tarzan killed a young boy? And I like that he actually did feel guilty about it, because I think, if I'm not wrong, I mean, that's the vibe I've got from the film, but it feels like the theme of this is redemption, or how revenge is sort of, I don't know, because Samuel Jackson's character, it's about how he killed so many Indians, right? And he basically helped wipe out the entire race in America or something.
Yeah,
Is that
something
true?
like he was a Civil War veteran, I think, and he also went down to fight in Mexico. I'm not sure whether he was involved in like the Native American genocide, but it's possible.
Yeah, and I think because of that, he felt so bad, and he wanted to look for redemption, so he decided to come and help with the slavery.
Yeah, and
I
that's
mean, that's
why.
the movie. I'm not sure if that happened in real life, but so the reason why, hang on, what's his name again? Chief Monga
Umbonga,
something?
Umbonga,
What?
Umbonga.
Umbonga, yeah, Chief Umbonga is trying to kill Tarzan is because Tarzan killed his son.
Yes.
And when he asked why would he kill his son, because he was just a young boy who didn't know much,
Mhm.
then Tarzan said he didn't know honor. And I thought, like, oh, this film tried to go, deep with how I feel like everyone is just looking for redemption. Like Chief can I just say Bonga?
Chief Umbonga, like
The chief,
yeah,
basically. The chief,
the chief.
he wanted to look for Tarzan to avenge his son, and I think for that's sort of his redemption, to avenge his son.
Yeah, and Tarzan
And
had the opportunity to kill Chief Umbonga but spared his life.
yeah, for everything bad that happened to him and Jane.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I thought maybe that was a theme. I don't know. I kind of like that theme.
Yeah, and of course the reason why Tarzan killed Chief Mbonga's son is because Chief Mbonga's son killed
Kala,
that's right, the adoptive gorilla mom, who is not Glenn
adoptive
Close.
gorilla mom.
Yeah, not Glenn Close. And what did you think of the family bonds that were depicted between Tarzan and the gorillas in this movie? Do you think that there was enough of that?
No, I was
Mm,
really sad,
yeah,
but I do like that they didn't talk. That was really cool.
yeah. I respected that. I respected
I
the
really
emotion.
wish, sorry, I really wish there was more brother. You could see the brotherly relationship between Tarzan and his other brother. What's his other brother called? Well, whatever his name is.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Let me check. All right. So, is there anything you want to say about the brothers, or I'm gonna say monkeys, the gorillas?
I liked the way that the flashbacks were parceled out in the film. I like that we got just enough, and we didn't get lost in a flashback. And I think the assumption is that people are generally familiar with the Tarzan story, but at the same time, you need to have just enough so that you can match up the emotional stakes. And like the death of his parents, I thought that was handled well enough. It was not like as heart-rending as the Disney version, and actually not as cruel as the Disney version.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
it was
think it is pretty cruel for the dad,
yeah, that's true.
killed by the people who are gonna raise his son.
Yes,
That's pretty dark.
and perhaps one of the themes is that to atone for that, the gorillas took on Tarzan as a child. Yeah, and maybe it was like, oh, we had taken your father away from you, so we will give you a family back, and maybe that will make up for it.
Well, only one gorilla thought of that.
Maybe that was
That was
yeah,
Kala.
that only Kala. And yeah, I really like that scene where Tarzan goes up to the lion and like nuzzles the lion.
Mm-hmm.
And when
That was really cute.
he first comes back to the jungle, and then George Washington Williams is like, whoa, what's going on? And that was a great way of establishing the bond that Tarzan has with the animals and how he sees them as people and not just as creatures. I like
Yeah.
that. And that's true. The whole talking to animals or communicating with animals thing can be awfully goofy. And yeah, some bits of this movie are a little bit silly, but I think they erred on the right side of it for most of it. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
pulled out of the movie.
Akut, that was his name.
Akud.
That's his brother's name.
Cool.
I don't understand why he became the leader of the tribe, though.
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with the backstory outside of the movies, outside of the Disney one, really.
So I really like that he lost the fight with Akut when they first met,
Hmm.
because that really tells you how out of shape Tarzan is.
Or like how, yeah, that he's been out of it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And what
So
did
that was
you?
a tiny detail that, well, it wasn't that tiny, but that was a detail that I really liked. And I really appreciated that, your hero can fail.
I agree. Yeah, I like that as well, and especially because this is an old-fashioned pulp hero. You always expect him to be a macho and to be great at everything. So giving him some vulnerabilities, and having some moments where he doesn't win, I appreciate that as well. What did you think of
Yeah.
the character animation on the gorillas and on the CGI animals?
Um, I thought it didn't blend well with the real people,
Hmm.
and sometimes it just comes off as a little bit too goofy, especially during the invasion scene.
Yeah,
But for the most parts, I think when the gorilla are by themselves,
that's
I don't know,
okay.
because the thing is, I can tell that it's animated well, but because it doesn't fit in with a live action film.
Right.
I think this is one of the not it's not a terrible CGI, but it's one of those CG films where you kind of have to give it to the people who are anti CG,
Mm.
because you can tell that it's not real,
Yeah.
and because
Yeah.
of that, it really takes you out of the film.
That's true. I just feel like anytime I see a movie with this much CG and where the CG is so important to the storytelling, I wish that they had more more time to do it. I wish that they had,
Yeah,
because I'm sure that this was just like 6 months turnover at some effects house. Put it together, throw it in, and that's how movies are made. But if they had
yeah.
given them more time, it would have worked better.
Because I don't think this film is supposed to be a CG marvel the way the Jungle Book was. Because the Jungle Book, all people talked about was, oh man, the CG, the CG, the CG. Like we made it. We specifically built this engine just for the CG. Is it engine? I forgot. That's more for games. But
Yeah,
a
they
lot
do
of
use, yeah.
things were made. Yeah, sorry. A lot of things were made specifically just for the Jungle Book, and I feel like that may have been the case for Tarzan, but they clearly did not. CG wasn't the main part, or wasn't the main point of Tarzan.
Yeah, it was. I mean, David Yates has worked with CG before in the Harry Potter films, but I think John Favreau did go in with more experience and also with more of a vision of like, okay, we're specifically going to use CG in these ways, these tools, and to fill in these story points and fulfill these requirements. But in this one, it's kind of like, it's not so much an afterthought, but it's like they used it as a regular
The
blockbuster
way,
would, yeah,
yeah, that's what I feel too.
when it needed more thought and when it needed and yeah, that's a good point, that this coming out in the same year as Jungle Book definitely hurts it. Like, everyone is going to look at Jungle Book as a superior film, which it is.
It is,
Yeah,
like, not even in terms of CG, but in terms of story.
storytelling, yes.
But David Yates is gonna make the next Harry Potter universe film, which is Fantastic
Fantastic
Beasts.
Beasts.
So I'm really hoping it's good. I'm there is I just there's no way that film can be bad, right? It has J.K. Rowling writing. It has a great cast of actors. It has the same director as the last 4 Harry Potter films.
And the other thing that is a like a great point for, or bonus for, Fantastic Beasts is that it's not a straight prequel, so it's not going to ruin any beloved characters.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not going to.
I'm so glad that they decided to do a spin-off instead of a prequel with, Severus Snape or something.
And Lily, yeah, which would not have pleased most people, I'm sure, and it would have been too
Like
obvious.
me.
Yeah, like,
Yep.
don't do a fan fiction movie. And
Mhm.
yeah, this doesn't seem like a fan fiction movie. This seems like an author exploring other areas of the universe she's created, so it justifies the cash grab.
Which is something I really hope Star Wars would do, and they're kind of doing that.
With Rogue One,
which
yeah.
is explore other characters.
Like beyond the Skywalker.
That's not related to the Skywalker, family line.
And they have done that for years in the novels and the video games, and I'm glad that they're going to do that in their movies. To go back to the Legend of Tarzan, I was honestly shocked at the critics' score this got on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like a 30 or 33%.
Yeah, it's 33%.
Yeah,
I was shocked too.
I was shocked, and I suddenly felt like, oh no, did I make a mistake by recommending it to Jerry? Did you hate it?
I mean, I didn't hate it. I was bored at certain parts, but like I said, I don't regret watching it. I think it's more like, what would I compare this to? I would say that this film is more along the lines of a lesser Jungle Book, which is I enjoyed Jungle Book quite a lot, and this one I enjoyed it, but not to the extent.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't watch it again
All right.
necessarily, but I'm glad I watched it. Like it could have been much worse.
Yeah. So you can
And
kind
I'd
of.
admit, I was still really dreading it by the time I was sitting down. Like, oh my god, Jen, you better be right. So I liked it.
That's
Like I thought the performances were fine, and I thought Samuel L. Jackson's character really was what made the film super, entertaining for me.
that's good to hear. I think so. You can kind of see like the reason why I recommended it is not necessarily because it's a brilliant movie, because it isn't, but because there's a clear vision here, and there's certain approaches that they took which I thought worked really well, and the way some of the characters were treated and the way the historical background was treated, it surprised me. I went into this not so much dreading it as like I had never ever been anticipating a new Tarzan movie, but this movie, like, I respected it for what it did.
Yeah, same. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people,
Mhm.
but I would say if you want to watch this film, okay.
Yeah. And like it can be considered like, it's a pleasant-ish surprise in that you wouldn't
Yeah.
expect anything out of it. And at the same time, it does have a audience score of 70%.
hmm
Yeah, so it's another one of those like big disparity between audience and critics.
Yep. I'm. Don't worry, Jed. I like this film.
Thank you. Yeah. Like when I went to watch it, like there were no reviews on Rotten Tomatoes yet. So I was just going off my own opinion, which is what a critic's supposed to do. You're not supposed to look at what other people say and then change how you feel according to that. Even though sometimes that may be the temptation because you doubt you want to go with the flow or you want to go against the flow, and you can tell sometimes when people write reviews that they are proud of themselves for being for going
Different.
against the grain, and they're sort of like, oh, I'm so great. I didn't like everyone else likes this and they're idiots. I'm not. So I don't think that was what I mean that was not what I was doing.
I mean, the thing is, some critics when they don't like a film, well, they clearly don't like a film, but it gets a good score.
Mm-hmm.
They try to be like, yeah, but this part was great and it's okay.
Yeah, they backpedal, right?
They try back,
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of you shouldn't do that. Just be
Yeah.
proud of your own opinion.
That's right. Yeah, so I don't want to backpedal, and I'm glad that I was able to convince you to give it a chance, I guess.
Yeah, I was either this or Ice Age 4, so.
Have
you seen Ice Age 4?
Ice Age 5.
Oh,
I
5,
can't believe
damn
it's
it.
the fifth one. I have not seen any of the previous movies, so I
I
passed
can't believe
them.
I've watched all 4.
But you are like into animation a little bit more than I
I'm into
am.
animation, but I do like good animated films instead of the crap that they give
Yeah,
us with Ice
Ice
Age.
Age
Although
is
I
crap,
really did
right?
enjoy, I do enjoy Ice Age. I did enjoy Ice Age 3 so much that I laughed to the point where I cried.
That's good. That's
But I
always
was-
good.
I was a teenager and I was dumb.
No, you are not. No, it's yeah. I mean, when they said spaceship, when I saw the trailer, I was like, please give it a rest. Why?
I feel like every single movie, the sequels, it's like something is going to destroy them, and it never happens.
Yeah, how many
And
times can
everyone
you
hopes
elude?
something does happen.
How many times can you elude extinction? It would be amazing if finally there is a movie, and at the end it's a slow motion sequence of everyone disintegrating, and then it fades to white, and then you traumatize all of the kids in the audience, and the end.
I was like wondering why on
Such
earth,
sadistic things.
how on earth Ice Age 4 did so well. I mean, not so well. I was wondering how on earth Ice Age 4 warranted an Ice Age 5.
Right, yeah.
And especially because I was following the US box office and it didn't do well at all.
Yeah.
Then I went to Wiki and I found out it earned about $900 million worldwide. I mean, not worldwide, but they earned about $800 or $700 million worldwide. And that brought up the overall box office to $900 million. And I think that was the biggest biggest animated film of that year.
Oh my gosh.
What a disappointment.
What else came out in that year? Could you quickly look it up for me? Like, what year was that? 'Cause I want to make myself
don't
sad.
Okay, hang on. Let me check. It made $877.2 million that year.
Yeah, that's close enough to 900. I would round it up.
2012. So
Oh.
Rise of the Guardians, Wreck-It Ralph,
Paranorman.
Paranorman.
Nah, good movies, man.
What else? I'm not sure whether Paranorman came out that year,
Brave.
but
Brave came out in 2012 as well.
Well, I didn't like Brave that much.
Brave was okay, yeah. I loved Paranorman and I loved Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph I loved so much.
What else came out that year? Hang on, I have to check.
Yeah, Rise of the Guardians did come out that year as well.
Frankenweenie, Madagascar 3.
Didn't
Pirates,
watch either one of those.
Hotel Transylvania, The Lorax. Oh, The Lorax did really well. 700 million.
Lorax is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cried at the end though.
Okay.
Oh no, it only made 300 million, sorry. It did really well in the US. That's how I remembered it.
So Ice Age 4 was the top grossing animated movie of 2012.
Yep.
Yeesh.
Yep, kinda sad, right?
Mm.
I was really sad when I found out.
Yeah, and right now they're trying to like resuscitate the Shrek franchise.
Please don't.
Yeah.
I'm so sad that Shrek became a meme because Shrek was so important to me as a kid because I love my Disney princesses, but to learn, it's okay not to look like a Disney princess and you're beautiful the way you are. It's like exactly what a girl like me needed.
Oh, I mean, it's a great message. And it's really, there are parts of that movie that are really cynical, of course, because it's made by Jeffrey Katzenberg, who left Disney and had a vendetta against Disney. But I really felt the message resonated. I love that Fiona became her true form, and she stayed that way for the rest of the movies, and that's fine. She's happier that way, and Shrek's happier that way too. And I love that. I love how much they committed to it. Like that, I mean, you're definitely not alone in feeling that way about Shrek. And it is such a letdown that the power got diluted and the resonance got diluted with each sequel. And I mean, there were aspects of Shrek Forever after that I enjoyed. The one where they did the Rumpelstiltskin thing and went back in time. But
sorry.
Like it's better than the third one, but it's still not good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving it to the head of Illumination Entertainment to do whatever. So Chris Melanandri, like the guy who produced all the Despicable Me movies, is now handling Shrek.
Can they just not make it?
Yeah, and like the Shrek musical doesn't look good at all to me. Like
I've actually heard some of the songs.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like
they're alright.
It's one of those cash grabby things, like a lot of musicals are. And it's the whole like theme park thing. I like the Shrek theme park attraction, fine, but how did we end up talking about this?
Something about Ice Age 5.
Oh, it was between Tarzan and Ice Age 5. Alright, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us back to Tarzan, I guess.
No, it's alright. So let's just go on to news this week. Speaking of Wreck-It Ralph coming out the same year as Ice Age 4, there's going to be a sequel. Or rather, they are officially announcing a sequel. And I love how they announced this because they had a Facebook Live page. And then it kind of froze up. But anyway, in the content that was actually uploaded, they brought in
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, they brought in John C. Reilly, and he was, just screwing around, having fun.
In the background, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were like saying, hey, we're trying to announce something here. And then John C. Reilly was like, oh, you mean Wreck-It Ralph 2? Didn't I announce that by mistake? And the directors were like, yes, a lot of times. It's so funny. I love it.
Yeah, and it's one of the directors of Zootopia, Rich Moore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, he also directed the first one, if I'm not wrong.
Yep. Yeah, he directed the first one, and I think the first one was like his feature directorial debut.
Oh, and apparently Warcraft is currently at $413 million in the box office. Global box office.
Yeah, China did amazing things for Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess we'll be seeing Warcraft 2 Warcraftier.
So the sequel is going to be about... They're gonna try to break the internet by focusing on both old school arcade games and modern era games, which does not bode well for me because I'm terrible at modern games. I'm terrible at games in general, but modern games are the ones I'm super bad at.
Yeah,
because they all require first person shooter stuff, and I cannot not get motion sickness out of them.
for me, it's mainly I get lost in games all the time. I have terrible direction sense and coordination, and I get lost so hard, and I cannot find things in games, and it frustrates whoever I'm playing co-op with. Uh,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. So
Same here.
right, and they said that they're gonna bring back most of the actors, right? That they're gonna bring back.
Yes.
Like, so that's a good thing. Like, I love the characters in Wreck-It Ralph. I love Fix It Felix. I love Jane Lynch's character. I love
Penelope.
Even Jane Lynch's character was the military.
No, as in I'm saying Penelope too.
Yes, because I was expecting to hate her, and then they gave her a great backstory, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, everybody is. There's a lot of places to explore with them, but at the same time, there's always the fear that it's gonna be gimmicky, that they're gonna just throw a lot of memes on screen. I hope they don't
I have
do
faith
that.
in the sequel. I have a lot of faith in the sequel.
Yeah, I think that given how beautiful the first film was, I have faith in it as well. And
if I'm not wrong, they were at this convention and they were talking about some video game characters that they couldn't get, and they were hinting that they couldn't get Mario inside.
yes.
So now that Nintendo is trying to get into films, this is a great opportunity for them to do so. I'm just
Definitely.
saying, Nintendo.
Yeah, and we could even have Link show up in Wreck-It Ralph too. Like, how cool would that
If
be?
Link shows up, I'm gonna freak out just thinking about it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They will have to drag you from the theater.
And the thing is, they're gonna make him, just hit it because that's him, and I'll just be so happy.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Just
Just
like
see him.
yeah, just like in the first film when they had what's a character who just speaks in,
Qbert?
yeah, Qbert. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, that would be fun.
I'm surprised I know what you were talking about.
Thank you, Jerry. No, I'm a geek, but I'm not really a gamer, and that's so like I'm left behind a lot on pop culture references to games. But I did really enjoy Wreck-It Ralph because I felt that there's always a danger that when you have a movie that has so many references, you get lost in it just being about the references. But no, it had a great story, it had great characters, it had really beautiful design, excellent voice acting, and the references were just a bonus, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I cried hard at the end.
Movie.
I cried.
Oh my god, like what I love about this film is that it never comes across as emotionally manipulative.
Yes.
You feel sad because the characters feel sad.
Yes.
And I think that's the best kind. It's not like, hey, remember. Okay, so I'm sorry, I love the first 5 minutes of Up, but I felt like that was it was very manipulative in the sense that we know how it is to lose someone that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're only crying at the end because you know that feeling.
Yeah,
But
I
to
cannot
me,
disagree
the
with
part,
that. Yeah.
the part where I felt so heartbroken was in Wreck-It Ralph was when Ralph was just wrecking Vanellope's car and she was just screaming for him to stop.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
yeah.
I was like, why do I feel like crying? I mean, I didn't cry, but like it was so heartbreaking to watch that, and it's the same way I felt about Zootopia.
Yes.
The part where she was talking to Nick about being a bad friend.
Yes.
It had that same feeling.
Disney does that really well, where there's the second act conflict, which is a predictable structured thing, but it just it stabs you so profoundly that you can't argue with it and you can't be cynical about it, or you can't say you're just gonna make up in the end, right? No, you are in that moment and you feel sad.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited for Wreck-It Ralph. The only bad thing I see about this is that they're gonna shift the Jack and the Beanstalk movie.
Gigantic,
the
right?
Gigantic, yeah, because that was
March and then now it's November,
too.
yeah.
November 21st. I think that was when Frozen was released.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I why do I know that? Oh, I know that because I think that was when Rise of the Guardians. No, wait, hang on. Then that couldn't be. Okay, sorry, I'm just talking on my own right now. So yeah, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph too.
I'm looking forward to it. You know what? I want to talk about trolls.
Okay.
Have you seen? Oh wow. Okay. I think they're gonna call it Super Wreck-It Ralph, unless that's too easy.
That's actually a good idea. No, what blank
Mario.
harder is it's my riff on like Die Hard Die Harder, which is like a stupid,
Yeah.
yeah. So every sequel that comes out, like I've called Through the Looking Glass Alice 2 Alice Harder.
Okay, sorry. I want to be like How to Train Your Dragon, train harder,
Train
but actually
Harder. That kind of
that
works.
doesn't sound funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about the Trolls trailer from DreamWorks?
Okay, I don't think
I
I've
thought it
seen
was
it.
decent. Oh, I'm just sound it's decent. Like I thought it was alright.
Was it in the brief?
No, it wasn't. I
Okay,
forgot to put it
sorry.
in there.
Yeah,
I
so
just saw Wreck It Ralph. I'm like, I want to talk about animated films.
okay, tell us about it since I didn't watch the trailer.
I think when you watch the trailer, you know what you're gonna be in for. As
Okay.
in, you know the story already. You know how it ends. But I'm really looking forward to this because it looks bright and colorful, and the songs sound decent, and it looks cute. But hearing Justin Timberlake's voice makes me so sad because it reminds me of Shrek 3 and what a terrible movie that
Oh,
was,
he
and
was
how
King
disappointed
Arthur.
I was in it. I didn't even see the first two Shreks in theaters because
Yeah, nah.
please don't hate me, but the reason I love Shrek is the reason why I didn't watch it because I thought he was a really ugly character.
Yeah.
So only when I gave it a chance, then I realized, what the story actually was and how beautiful it was.
Definitely,
And
yeah, and it's actually
I
more.
was
Sorry, it's more profound coming into it like that. It's more profound, like learning you are wrong, I guess.
yeah, and I was so excited for Shrek 3, and that was the first time I was watching it in theater, and it turned out to be such a huge disappointment.
Right. Yeah.
So I just hope that Trolls is okay. And I think Justin Timberlake, his voice lends well to voice acting. And I love the song that he released for this film. Like, it's so addictive.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch that Yogi Bear movie, but in the trailers, his boo boo voice is spot on.
Yeah, it is.
I was really shocked. It's like,
creepy.
it's not bad. Like, this guy has talent. And of course, like, he's done the whole Lonely Island Sunday Night Live thing, and he wants to be a comedian. So I guess that,
Yeah.
and him and Anna Kendrick, that's not too bad of like a celebrity voice
Of a
casting.
pairing?
Yeah, of a pairing.
Oh.
Does it seem like too similar to Smurfs to you?
No.
Okay, that's good then.
It just reminds me of every generic musical animated film that ever was about a guy who's angry and a girl who's spunky. That's the premise.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl thing. Are they doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like they're doing that. And of course, Anna Kendrick would be playing that archetype in an animated film. Yeah.
And the weird thing about this trailer is that they actually show real life footage
Oh,
of
okay.
the actors when their names come up.
Are they like in the recording booth, or is it just them against like?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's from the Got a Feeling, that song. What's it called again? Can't stop this feeling, or can't stop this feeling, or something like that. I forgot.
Most likely.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
I hope it's good for the sake of DreamWorks because they're really struggling a lot. Okay, Minecraft movie has been confirmed.
Nah,
Has it even been confirmed before that? I don't think
I don't
so,
know.
right?
Like, I have nothing to say about that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think Warner Brothers, they're in charge. Yeah, they're developing an adaptation for this
Oh.
for this
Yeah,
game.
that's
I've never played Minecraft
neither
before.
have I, and that's because the Lego movie did well. That's why. That's the only reason they're
Yeah.
doing this. And
But the only reason why the Lego movie did well was because of the directors.
yes, it's because of Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And I'm like when they said the emoji movie and things like that. It's just like please. This is another it's another example of
I remember there was one film that someone had written a script for it, and so many studios were bidding to buy that film rights.
which
If I'm not wrong, I think it was like it's something stupid like emoji or the Paz movie or something like that.
and there was supposed to be like a Hungry Hippos movie.
I feel like that one works out. Like you can think of something
Yeah,
for that.
there's gonna be
I think Minecraft is alright.
yeah.
It's just I don't understand. I never found Minecraft appealing.
Yes, totally.
In terms of as in visually, I don't find it appealing. So I'm trying to understand how they're gonna. Well, I guess kids will watch this. I don't think it's meant for us yet.
Yeah, and well, the thing about Minecraft is that it's sandboxy. You create, but part of the appeal is that it looks kind of cheap. Like it's basic blocky simple shapes. But you have a whole movie of that. that's not gonna be fun to look at as a movie.
Well,
Uh,
what can we do?
yeah, and I mean, like with Lego elements and bricks come in so many different shapes and sizes, so the possibilities are endless, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
and well, I mean, I've seen beautiful Minecraft
so have I. Yeah,
buildings.
I'm not trying to
Yeah,
take away from that.
so maybe they will think of something.
I
Who knew
guess.
the Lego movie could work? I just hope that if they're gonna get, oh, hang on, no, oh, it's um the director of this film is going to be the guy who created It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah.
I this movie's gonna make money. I think Minecraft is still really, really popular. So,
So it won't be like the Angry Birds movie where it's 5 6 years too late.
oh, I think this could be 5 6 years too
Yeah,
late though,
maybe, right?
because it's coming out in 2019.
Yes, so that would be 5 6 years too late. I don't know, man. Like this is one of those moments.
Maybe 3.
This is one of those moments where I'm inclined to at least ever so slightly agree with people who go, Hollywood has no more ideas. And normally I distance myself from that camp, but when I hear news like that, I'm like not everything
Speaking
has to
of
be a recognizable.
sorry.
So not everything has to be a recognizable name to work.
Speaking of not everything has to be recognizable for it to work. Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
They're
okay.
making a movie too, and it's gonna star Ansel Elgort.
Ansel Elgort.
Is that how you pronounce? Yeah, the guy from The Fault in
Yeah.
Our Stars.
Honestly, like I don't have a problem with this because the last movie sucked, and the last movie like made a lot of the fans upset, and that was in the year 2000. So I think there's a long enough time for a reboot.
Yep. And Rob Letterman, so far he's been hired.
Yeah. Goosebumps.
Isn't he the guy that did the terrible film? I know he did Goosebumps, but he also did another really bad film. Was it Gulliver's Travel or something?
Yes, it's probably Gulliver's Travels. Yeah. Ish. Yeah. The movie that cost Emily Blunt Black Widow.
Oh, hang on. Monsters vs. Aliens. I like that.
I like that too. I love that movie. I love President Colbert.
Okay, good. Alright, so the
Faith
50-50.
is
I
restored.
hope it's good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Ansel Elgort, it's quite interesting because he is himself like he's a Warhammer enthusiast and he paints miniatures. So he's like a geek at heart too. So
Oh, I did not know that. He's like you.
a little bit. Yay, I'm like Ansel Elgort.
But except you modify things.
Yeah, and except like he's better looking and richer.
Oh, Jad, don't say that.
Well, yeah, like Ansel Elgort, I guess he's got the like I could see him being the rookie, like the level 1 guy who goes in and then eventually he gains his abilities and he gets better at stuff. I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
And like he's totally wrong for young Han Solo, but I'm sure he'll be okay in Dungeons and Dragons.
I hope it's a good movie. You know what? I hope every movie is good because
Me too.
you are taking your time off to review these movies, and I'm giving you my money to watch these films. So I
Yeah,
hope.
yeah.
And the thing is, films are so hard to make. So I hope every film is good.
Yeah, that's right. Like when I talk about movies with other people and when I get to the line, Hollywood is a business, I like bring myself way down. and then like the truth hits and it's like, oh yeah, that's really what it is. But at the same time, magic still happens, and
Yeah.
I really, really don't like it when people go, oh, all movies these days suck. Movies were much better in the 60s and 70s.
That's bullshit.
I had like a long argument with someone like that once, and yeah, I don't like hearing that. Please.
You know what? If you're one of those people who go, the movies nowadays, or they all suck, and 60s movies were the best, you're pretty much an old man. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
there's no other way to go around it. Okay, so movies coming out next week. I've only listed one here for Alice Through the Looking Glass, and I'm not gonna watch that because I refuse to watch another Alice film.
Yeah, it's
So,
don't give it your
can
money.
we talk
honestly.
Yeah, so can we talk about Ghostbusters next week, the original film?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a bad idea at all. Yeah, we could also put a little Ghostbusters 2 in there, perhaps. Vigo of
I've never seen that one.
Carpathia. Yeah, give it a chance. Like, I think it's a good idea to watch it back to back and to see, or like
Alright.
on consecutive days. Yeah, I'll probably do that sometime this week.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that. So we'll be reviewing Ghostbusters 1 and 2 next week
Mm-hmm.
to prepare ourselves for the female Ghostbusters
Yeah.
that I hope is good. And that
Directed
you've
by-
seen 20 minutes of it, but you can't talk about it.
No, I can't talk about it. Yeah.
That's so sad. I hope it's good. I really do. Because I like Paul Feig.
Yeah, I like Paul
I've said
Feig
that a
too.
lot of times. And he also signed your stuff.
Yeah,
which was really nice
yeah.
of him.
He was really sweet. I like him. He's like he doesn't seem like a wheeler dealer or slimy kind of guy. And I guess directors can sometimes be like that. He seems very earnest. And when he said like all we want is to make people laugh, I kind of believed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, please
Yeah, I
guys,
hope-
please give us a chance.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, reboots themselves, they're not given a lot of,
Faith.
how do you say, faith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you start
And-
off from a skeptical point already. Your starting point's
yeah,
not good
and
yet.
and then you add on. And I feel like a lot of Paul Feig's trailers are really terrible.
Yeah, the spy
Because
trailer,
it's
didn't sell me on it at
Yeah.
all.
A lot of it has to do with context, and because you can't really set yourself up for the joke. His trailers don't really come off as funny.
Exactly.
So I really hope that's the case for Ghostbusters.
Me too. Yeah.
And not, I feel like, I hope that this is Spy instead of The Heat, because I didn't really like The Heat that much.
I don't think I watched the Heat. Yeah.
Don't watch it, it's a waste.
It didn't look good to me. Yeah. It's like, this also brings to mind, like, I think Colin Trevorrow was talking about the Jurassic World trailer, and he was so upset that they put the raptors in it, like running next to Chris Pratt in the bike. He says, no, that looks ridiculous because you haven't built up the relationship and you haven't built up the whole thing of how Owen, has a bond with the raptors. So when you see that, it looks like without any context, it looks silly. But of course, it's a trailer moment, so it's in there, and it's even one of the posters. So you can't do anything about it.
I think James Gunn was so lucky because his film was so good, but the trailers was super phenomenal as well.
Yes.
So he got off lucky, and I hope Guardians 2 is good too. I don't know why I chose, out of all the directors, I chose him, but I've seen him so much on my Facebook, so yeah.
Yeah, and he's also like the most outspoken about the industry, and he's like the most geeky genuinely as like, I mean, he's more accessible than J.J. Abrams or Joss Whedon because he's not at that level yet, but he feels closer to the ground, to the fans in that way. Yeah, and I don't think Marvel has had like a bad trailer. Right? Yeah, I feel like all the Marvel trailers have been pretty good.
The first Ant-Man was kind of bad.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I was okay with it.
Okay, so Ghostbusters next week. So see you guys.
Alright, bye everyone. Thanks, Jerry. Bye, guys.